Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Why is it that some of the most successful people in the world, the most emotionally stable people we may know, live a very structured and disciplined life, and yet that structure is somehow questioned? It's looked at as being boring, dull, unsexy, routine. I personally have experienced this myself in my own life, and so I wanted to have a conversation with you about it. Discipline and structure, routine, things that we incorporate into our life so that we actually have a lifestyle that is structured and disciplined, can be seen in a negative light by others, people who don't understand it, maybe people who are reflecting on their own lifestyle. And as such, they might think that chaos and drama is more attractive. Welcome to Dr. Jacalyn Unscripted. This is my program. There is no rehearsed agenda. There's no topic. I don't know where the conversation is going to go specifically because it's just me. But if you'd like to engage with me, you have something productive to add to the conversation, please feel free to put it into the chat. So this is just a real life conversation about human behavior and some of the things that I've realized. And today I just want to talk about what I've been observing more and more, both personally and professionally. What I found is over the years of my life, I'm now 63, is that being in chaos or having a lot of drama in life seems to be really attractive. And what brought this up for me is I have had a very exciting life. I have some beautiful clothes, especially designer shoes, and I no longer wear them. And I don't wear them because they just don't represent who I am. My feet have changed, my lifestyle's changed. But when I look at the shoes, I have memories of different parts and times in my life. And by the way, if you are interested, you can go over to Facebook Marketplace and you can see some of the lovely shoes and items that I have up for sale. So I decided to close that chapter of my life and to move forward. But in remembering it, the travel, the going to work every day, wearing a suit, wearing heels, doing presentations, and going out and entertaining clients, it was very different than what I'm doing today. Today, I'm in the public eye every day. I'm broadcasting. I have a team of people I'm training. I do keynotes. I write books. I give speeches. But it's not the same because a lot of it starts here with the computer. And so as a result of the pandemic and being a full-time caregiver for my mother, my life has definitely changed. And I'm happy with how it is today, but it is extremely structured and extremely disciplined. Every day there's a schedule. I don't have to review the schedule with anyone. I just look at it myself. Everything's written down. And after I'm finished doing my work, then I have a very structured schedule with working out. And I'm not interested in workouts where I'm walking around the gym, talking to people. It's basically taking classes, pushing myself. It's usually 2 classes in a row. Then I come back and then I continue working. So in between that is, how am I taking care of my health? And I eat the same food every single day. So people have said to me, isn't it boring? Isn't it boring doing the same thing every single day? And there have been times when I thought to myself, I remember different times in my life when there was chaos. there was drama. And I even remember somebody saying to me maybe 20 years ago, wherever it is you go, there seems to be drama. And you may be one of these people, or you may know someone that always seems like their life is in chaos. And typically they're always playing the victim role, or they're blaming someone for the fact that they don't have enough money, things aren't going the way they'd like them to, their relationships aren't fulfilling, their work isn't fulfilling. And so there's always some kind of drama. So my question for you is, how are you living your life right now? Are you living a life that is structured and disciplined? And if so, how do you feel about it? Are you living a life that's filled with drama and chaos? Now, I do believe that into every life some rain shall fall. I do believe that chaos is interjected into our life to see how we will respond. And sometimes it can be horrific things that happen to us. I'm sure there's hardly a person out there who hasn't had something completely life-changing happen to them, or someone they know or love. And how do we show up for that, and how do we deal with it? So the question is, are you living a life where you're making choices that you are continuously in a state of drama and chaos? Maybe it's been brought to your attention by other people, or maybe you feel it inside. And by the way, there's no judgment about this. This is just a conversation. And as I mentioned, it was brought up by me looking at some of the clothes that I had from before the pandemic and the lifestyle that I was living, which was really exciting in a lot of ways. I got to stay at 5-star resorts. I called on some of the biggest companies in the world, and it was definitely exciting, but there was always some element of drama. And throughout that whole time, what I noticed was it impacted my health. That's right. I got ulcerative colitis. I got facial eczema. I got psoriasis. And so I never felt particularly well, but I looked pretty good. I loved what I was wearing, and I loved the shoes that I had on. I used to focus on buying shoes, believe it or not. Whether I could afford them or not is another story, but I always wanted to have shoes that there was a limited edition of how many of them they made. And I'll never forget this. I'm sharing a personal story with you, but I went to New York. I went to the Dior store, and I wanted to buy a pair of shoes. I didn't care what the shoes were really, but I wasn't leaving there until I had a pair of Dior shoes. And they had these beautiful, magnificent sandals that the salesperson told me they only had a certain number in my size. And this was the last pair. And so she misheard me when I said what my size was, and she brought back a pair of shoes that was a size 6. And I am not a size 6 and have never been a size 6. But it turns out it was the only pair that she had left. And she said, Celine Dion has these shoes, and they had these beautiful Swarovski crystals, and they went all around your ankle. So I thought to myself, I am going to make this work. I don't care how much my feet hurt. I am putting my feet into these shoes, and I am getting these shoes and taking them with me. And so I did. And they were absolutely magnificent. So my point of bringing this up, and then I'll get to the rest of the story, is I had an opportunity to say, okay, these do not fit. They're never going to fit. They're not going to feel comfortable. My intuition told me not to do it. But in my mind, in my ego, I was walking out of there with those Dior shoes that Celine Dion allegedly had the same pair of. So I already was creating chaos by the choice that I made. So I finally had an opportunity to wear the shoes. I was invited to a black tie event. This is many, many years ago. And I realized when I got out of the car that it was going to be very difficult to walk in these shoes, let alone stand in these shoes, let alone dance in these shoes. So a time came when I had to stand up, and I was asked to dance, and I danced. And right there on the dance floor in front of all of these high net worth individuals, the shoe on my right foot broke, and all the crystals went scrambling across the floor. And I started literally crawling across the floor to get the crystals, because these shoes were everything to me. And that was chaos, and that was drama. And I felt so foolish. And it ended up, I sold them on eBay as they were for a great price. But the point is that when I remember that story, I had a choice, and the choice was, these shoes do not fit. It doesn't matter that they only made a limited run in any size. It doesn't matter that Celine Dion allegedly has them. They don't fit, but let me make it work. And so when we have an opportunity to say, okay, this doesn't work for me, sometimes we're trying to cram it in and make it work because something inside of us says, I must have this. I must accomplish this. And yet we're not prepared. We're not ready. And so the chaos and the drama starts. And once we get into it, sometimes our ego is beckoning and saying, yes, yes, let's keep moving forward. Whereas there are red flags all along. And other people who care about us are noticing the red flags and they're saying, you know, you have a choice. You could actually stop right now and you could make a decision to do something else. But instead we don't, because there's something about the chaos that turns us on. There's something about being in the middle of the drama. What is drama aside from a scenario I gave you? It could be gossip. You get some juicy piece of information about someone and you can't wait to start telling people. You are the ringleader. You're the one who has the information and people are coming to you. In fact, somebody just shared this with me that they were looking forward to getting some information about somebody in their circle. And I said, what do you plan on doing with the information and why do you need it? And the person said, because everybody will be calling me and coming to me for the information. So gossip is not a positive thing because we wouldn't want somebody talking about us. But yet, when we get involved with gossip, we are part of the drama. And that drama takes place every single day on social media. And I'm not here to call anyone out about what they're posting on social media. I have to say, as a TV show host and the owner of this network, I have had many negative things put into comments on social media when I'm broadcasting. And to me, I think to myself, it's interesting that these people, sometimes it looks like it's their first name, may or may not, but they don't care if the whole world sees that they're filled with hate or they're putting negative comments about something that have nothing to do with what's being discussed. They have no area of expertise. But as humans, we all have expertise in how we show up. Do you like the drama? Do you like to stir the pot? And if you do, there may be something much more significant happening within inside you that is the cause of that. And I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to evaluate. In my experience of my own behavior many, many years ago, what I realized was that I was insecure. I was very insecure. And the fact that I was working a career where I was basically forced to be presenting in front of CEO and C-level executives, that was part of the job. And so it was exciting, but at the same time, it was nerve-wracking. Was I good enough? Was I on the same level? And at some point after doing it for so many years, what I realized was it didn't matter what I looked like. It didn't matter what my status was. What mattered was that I understood the client's issue and that I could bring a solution and a team of people who could help to address the business issues. So once we realize that we don't need external validation, we can actually take a step back from the chaos. I know plenty of people who are not on social media and they have their own reasons. But what I hear typically is that they don't want to be subjected to a lot of the evil and the hatred that's out there. I was recently watching a reality TV show and they had a reunion. And at this reunion event, some of these people on the show shared that social media had had a major negative impact on their life, that some of the people were so cruel and so condescending, and they just took it to heart. And so they actually had stopped their accounts. They closed their accounts. So if you think about that as a potential way of living your life, that you can't wait to spread the next negative thing, or you can't wait to say something mean about someone, what if you were to do the opposite? What if you said nothing? What if you gave people grace? What if you thought about life as a challenge for each and every one of us? And we all have our own challenges that come at their own time. And I would like to think that at some point in life, based on either our age or our experience, that we realize that each and every one of us is going to have real issues that we have to deal with. One of them being that we're not going to be here forever. One of them is realizing, for me, I'm 63. How many more years do I have left? I can look at my parents, I can look at the gene line in our family, and I can say, okay, 20 years, 25 years. Do I think I'll be here until 100? I don't think so. And part of the reason is I've had ulcerative colitis for 35 years. I don't think so, but maybe. So let's say I have 25 years left. How am I going to be spending those 25 years? Well, certainly not gossiping about people, certainly not living my life in drama and chaos, and certainly not looking for external validation from anyone out there. And you may say, well, does that make sense because you're a TV show host? Well, I'm actually a broadcaster, and my goal is to share education, knowledge, and information that will hopefully impact someone across the world in a positive way. So I'm not here so that everyone can say, oh, I love what you're sharing. I love what you're wearing. No, I'm here that hopefully my message will reach one person, the person it's intended to. If it reaches hundreds of thousands, millions of people who take in the information and it makes a change in their life, it helps them to realize something, that would be truly a miracle and a gift. So we go from that type of lifestyle, never knowing when the other shoe is going to drop, to being in charge of our life. How do we do it? We take on discipline and structure. And it's not sexy. It's not thrilling. In fact, the repetition of doing the same things are what actually propels us forward. So the most basic thing I can share, because we can all understand this, is our health. Let's talk about something: sleep. Each and every one of us who is human needs sleep. So when you're not sleeping well, you're not able to think well. You're not able to have the amount of energy that you might have if you did sleep well. Your mind doesn't shut off, it just keeps going. So working on discipline and structure, going to bed at the same time, not engaging with any white lights, blue lights, any type of computer, television, not eating or drinking 2 hours before you're going to sleep. Those things can have a positive impact. But what does it take? It takes structure and discipline. So if you're living in an environment where you're a night owl, or maybe your partner or whomever it is you live with, you stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then you're getting up maybe 10, 11 o'clock, you're going to have to change that biological rhythm. You're going to have to say, okay, I'm no longer going to do that. Now I'm going to do this, because the discipline and structure will enable other wonderful things to happen in my life. When it comes to deciding, do you want to spend your time being entertained, always looking for the next fun thing, or do you actually want to be at peace? Can those things coexist? Sure, they can coexist. But looking for a good time, always wanting to be the life of the party, always wanting another party day after day, what are you sacrificing in order to have that? Probably peace of mind. There's probably something going on inside of you where you're not at peace. Do you have difficulty being by yourself when there's no one around, and there's no TV, and there's no music, and there's just silence? How do you feel? What's showing up for you? I know plenty of people who cannot be alone. I know people who can't be alone, but they live alone, and they have multiple televisions running all the time. And when asked about this, the reasoning is, well, I feel like someone's here with me, so I'm not alone. But what is it about being alone that is unattractive? I think it's phenomenal. There's no one to answer to. There's no one to question you. You make your own decisions and you have to live by them. Whatever happens is on you. So, in the course of a day, are you continuously looking for external validation for even the smallest things? Before we can be in a relationship that is successful, we have to be happy with who we are. But if we are prone to drama and we are prone to wanting something to always be happening, we probably are going to struggle in a relationship because the relationship will be a reflection of our own inability to be at peace. And we're just basically pushing that onto the relationship. So I'd like you to think about, what would a life look like for you right now? A life that's structured and disciplined, where you are in control. And being in control means that you determine your happiness. You determine what you will and will not do. Are you presently someone who is consistently saying, yes, yes, I'll do that. Yes, that sounds good. The yeses can be exhausting. And at some point, you may feel resentment. And that resentment comes from the fact that you're not listening to your intuition. You're not setting boundaries. It is difficult to set boundaries. I have to do it all the time. Even with Facebook Marketplace, I'll give you an example. I've sold a number of things over the years on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe you have too. And what I found is, whenever I'm selling shoes, I will get questions, are these still available, from men, accounts with names of men, and they identify as a man. And what the questions are typically about after the first question is, oh, you have nice feet. Can I see more pictures of your feet? Can you take the shoes off? And so I have to block each and every one of them. I have to set a boundary, whereas some people might engage with those people, but I already understand what this is about. It's a scam. It's maybe someone with a fetish, whatever it is. It's not someone who's interested in buying my shoes. So I have to set a boundary. So even with Facebook Marketplace, you have to set a boundary. But if you're not setting a boundary with yourself, where you say to yourself, I will not gossip about other people. I will love myself. I will honor myself. I will not put things into my body that are harmful. When we start setting boundaries with ourselves, we start to really respect ourselves. And then we start setting boundaries with other people. And this is a journey, my friends. It does not happen overnight. It's something that we have to work on. So if you're finding, and only you know this, if you're finding you're on social media and you're one of the people who is posting hateful messages, condescending, disrespectful messages, that is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. Are you aware of that? You are unhappy with yourself on some level, because when we have a life that's structured and disciplined, we know that you give people grace. We lead with dignity. We do not engage. We do not take our time and our precious energy and put it into something that nothing positive is going to come from. It's a good time to start looking at who is on your social media platforms and maybe start dropping people. Maybe stop engaging with things that are upsetting you. There's enough upset in the world. And when things upset us, I always say, what is it on a positive measure that we can do? It's not putting hateful comments out there. It's not accusing. It's not saying they're always this, they're always that. It's actually doing something about it. And the thing that you might do about it is you choose not to engage. If you're watching things on television, if you're watching podcasts, if you're watching this and you don't like it, don't engage. Find something else that brings you joy. Because, as we know the saying, life is very short. And if you choose to spend your time in chaos, continuously being part of the drama, it will certainly impact your health at some point in time. In addition, it will impact your relationships. It will impact your ability to make choices, and it will most certainly impact the way you feel about yourself, whether you're in denial or you're actually doing work on yourself. How many times have people shared stories where they were struggling with something, and as a result, they did things they weren't proud of? And when they actually went back and spent the time, maybe they were working with a therapist or a counselor or a mentor or a clergy person, when they actually spent the time to look at what was going on in their life, there was something unresolved in their life that was showing up in a way, and they didn't know how to deal with it. It was coming across as anxiety, depression, negative emotions. And so instead of getting help for that, their behavior was such that they were creating drama and chaos, even if they didn't realize it. And later, when they found out about it, they were very sorry, and they didn't want to be part of it. We all have a choice. So, what I'd like you to think about today, right now in 2026, every single day you wake up, you get to make a choice. And the choice is, will you choose peace or will you choose chaos and drama? And if your answer is peace, it's peace of mind for you. It's how can you sit alone by yourself and be at peace, not looking or searching or wanting for anything else. It starts with the first minute you wake up of the day. What will you do with your choices? And if you find you're living in a scenario that is filled with chaos and drama and it no longer serves you, take the steps to move on. And while it might be frightening, you'll look back one day and you'll say, I am so glad that I left that situation. I'm just watching a Netflix series on, I think it's called The Worst Ex Ever. And in this series, what's come across, and by the way, I've known people like this in my life personally, but what's come across is there were red flags that showed themselves very early on. And the people portrayed in this Netflix series, they realized there were red flags. They felt the red flags. They knew something was wrong with each of these individuals, but they kept moving forward because they felt love. They wanted to be loved. And so that, my friends, is the entire crux of where I'm going with today's episode. Sometimes our need to feel loved is so strong that we'll take it from anywhere it comes. We'll take it in any form that it comes in. But we have to love ourselves first, because if we can't love ourselves, then no one's going to love us in a healthy way. And we may get in situations that are not good for us. We may make choices that are even dangerous to our life. Structure and discipline, while not sexy, is very rewarding. It is the basic premise of what most people I know who are successful. They have routines, they are structured, and they are disciplined. And it's rinse and repeat the same things over and over and over again, as opposed to get rich quick schemes, as opposed to, I just met this hot guy, he's really attractive, and I don't care that there are all these red flags. Don't go down that path, because drama and chaos can have, dire and lifelong consequences. But again, it starts with you. So if you are watching this program, I thank you. I thank you for being here. And I hope that you will take a deep dive look into your own life. It's not always fun, but it's the only one we have. Make it the best you can make it. If something in your life doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Find a way to move forward on a different path. Ask for help. Reach out. Go to the authorities. Go to a therapist. Go to a counselor. Call a hotline. Find a support group. And if it's just you with your own choices, look at making different ones that you are proud of, ones that will be part of your legacy. I want to close out this episode today with this final comment. In addition to everything that I've shared today on Unscripted, what I found is most of us, in conjunction with what I've been talking about, are giving away our value, especially if we're business owners. We are doing many things for free instead of charging. And that could be our time. We are taking phone calls. We are taking meetings. I did this myself when I first started. I had so many Zoom meetings with people who wanted to do something on the platform. And most of the time, it never worked out. Is it nice to make new connections? Absolutely. But as a business owner, if you are in business, time is money. Money is time. So I wrote this book, Stop Giving Away Your Value, Boundaries, Pricing, and the Business of Respect. And the reason I wrote it is to put in here all the things that I've gone through as a business owner, the mistakes that I've made, the free time, the free training, the free TV shows, all the things that I gave away for free that set me back. That caused me anxiety, that caused me to question whether or not I was good enough, whether or not I should be here. And so I want to help you with that. So if you find in your personal life and in your business life that you are giving away your value, I want you to consider stopping. You can pick up a copy of this book, Stop Giving Away Your Value, Boundaries, Pricing, and the Business of Respect, at major bookstores around the world, as well as on Amazon. It's available as an ebook and also as a paperback. Thank you for watching and listening. Wherever it is that you are, I'd really like you to stop right now and go over to YouTube if you wouldn't mind. And if you're on YouTube, would you please consider subscribing to our 2 channels? They are USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at an opportunity that could be you. Have you ever wanted to be a TV show host? Do you think you have a story to tell? Do you feel you have a higher calling to leave a legacy of education and information? Let's take a look at this.
Hey, you. Psst. Yes, you. Watching this right now. Are you creating content, a blog, a podcast, a newsletter, going live on Instagram or TikTok, and still not seeing real visibility or growth? Here's why. Anyone can post, anyone can go live, but not everyone is positioned to be taken seriously. Right now, people are going to YouTube to search for experts, for answers, for credibility. So while you're putting in the work, someone else is being seen as the authority. Not because they know more, because they're positioned better. Now imagine this. Your own professionally produced TV show, marketed, distributed, optimized with SEO so people can actually find you. Not just seen, but searchable, discoverable, positioned. You're trained, you're coached, you're guided. No experience necessary, but you do have to be coachable, because this is about stepping into a higher level. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing it right. We've already built the platform, 2 YouTube channels, a global audience, a Silver Creator Award. So the question is, how much longer are you going to rely on temporary visibility when you could be building real authority? If you're ready to be seen differently, go to USAGlobalTV.com and apply to host your own show. This is for individuals who are serious about investing in their visibility, their credibility, and their growth. If that's you, we're ready. USA Global TV and Radio, where your voice becomes your platform. Executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Videographer, Paul Garcia. Voiceover, Ed Vargas. All rights reserved. This production is the exclusive property of the USA Global TV and Radio and may not be reproduced, distributed, or used without written permission.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at USAGlobalTV.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.